sports aren't just about points, stats, or even championships. They're about emotions, about rivalries, revenge, and those moments when the unexpected flips the story on its head. And that's exactly what went down when Lexie Hull and Kayla McBride faced off in a heated matchup that had the entire WNBA world buzzing. Kayla McBride, the veteran star, has always been known for her toughness. But in this game, things got downright ugly. One sharp elbow, seen by millions, ignited not just anger, but a firestorm of drama that would change the course of the night. Fans weren't just watching basketball. They were watching a battle for respect. And then came Lexie Hull's revenge. Not through words, not through trash talk, but on the court where it mattered most. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge for the Indiana Fever, the game transformed into something bigger than basketball. It became a statement, a showdown, and a humiliation that McBride won't soon forget. The elbow heard around the WNBA. Every rivalry has its flashpoint. For the Indiana Fever and the Minnesota Lynx, it came in the form of a sharp, unmissable elbow. Kayla McBride, frustrated, physical, and maybe just a bit reckless, delivered a hit that fans immediately branded as dirty. The moment was replayed endlessly on social media, sparking outrage and fueling debate. Some fans argued it was just old-school basketball, a veteran reminding younger players that the league isn't soft. Others, however, saw it differently. They called it cheap, unnecessary, and disrespectful not just to Lexie Hull but to the game itself. Lexie's reaction in the moment? Controlled, but clearly burning. She didn't flop. She didn't retaliate right then and there. Instead, she regrouped. And that's where the real drama began. Because revenge in sports is never just about payback. It's about proving your worth in front of the world. Lexie Hull's silent determination. Lexie Hull has never been the loudest player on the floor. She doesn't thrive on trash talk, and she doesn't need to pound her chest to be noticed. What she does is simple. She locks in, plays her game, and lets her performance speak louder than anything she could say. After McBride's elbow, fans expected anger. Instead, they saw focus. Lexie didn't chase revenge with cheap shots of her own. She channeled it into her game, and that's where the humiliation began. Her defense tightened. Her shots found their mark. Every possession seemed like a personal reminder to McBride. You don't get to push me around. The Fever bench saw it. Caitlin Clark saw it. Even the crowd seemed to recognize that Lexie wasn't just bouncing back. She was taking over. It's the kind of revenge that cuts deeper than any shove or hard foul. Because nothing embarrasses a veteran more than getting outplayed, out-hustled, and outshined by someone they thought they could intimidate. Caitlin Clark joins the fight. If Lexie Hull was the spark, Caitlin Clark was the wildfire. As soon as the energy shifted, Clark took over with the kind of swagger fans have come to expect. She wasn't just playing for herself. She was amplifying the revenge storyline, feeding off the tension, and turning the game into a spectacle. Clark's deep threes, cold-blooded. Her court vision, razor-sharp. Every time McBride touched the ball, the crowd booed. Every time Clark sank a shot, the cheers felt louder, angrier, and more electric. It was as if the arena itself had taken sides, and McBride was suddenly the villain of the night. What made this so powerful wasn't just Clark's individual brilliance. It was the way she and Hull fed off each other. One big play from Lexie on defense turned into a transition bucket for Caitlin. One deep shot from Clark gave Hull the energy to press harder on the other end. It wasn't just basketball, it was storytelling in real time. The Fever bench comes alive. Momentum is contagious. Once Lexie Hull and Caitlin Clark set the tone, the Indiana Fever bench couldn't help but explode with energy. Teammates were up on their feet after every defensive stop, every three-pointer, every hustle play that tilted the balance further against McBride and the Lynx. Revenge in sports isn't always about one-on-one showdowns. Sometimes it's about igniting a team. That's exactly what Lexie did. Her ability to stay composed after taking a dirty shot inspired her teammates. Instead of folding, they rallied. Instead of backing down, they pushed harder. And here's where the humiliation for McBride truly deepened. Because it wasn't just Lexie outshining her. It was the entire Fever squad smelling blood in the water. Every mistake from the Lynx seemed magnified. Every Fever basket felt like a statement. You tried to bully us, and now you're paying for it. The crowd takes sides. If there's one thing sports fans love, it's drama. And on this night, the crowd was treated to a soap opera disguised as a basketball game. From the moment McBride threw that elbow, the audience wasn't neutral anymore. They wanted blood or at least humiliation. Every time Lexie Hull touched the ball, the cheers grew louder. Every time McBride attempted a shot, the boos rained down. The crowd wasn't just watching, they were participating. They became part of the storyline, and their energy elevated the Fever even higher. This is where revenge gets its true power. Because humiliation isn't just about being outplayed. It's about being outplayed while thousands of people are chanting against you, relishing every mistake. The Fever fans weren't just supporting their team, they were making sure McBride felt every ounce of the backlash. The arena became a pressure cooker, and McBride was trapped inside. Kayla McBride crumbles. Veterans are supposed to rise above the chaos. They're supposed to use experience to steady themselves when the pressure mounts. But on this night, Kayla McBride unraveled. Her shots stopped falling. Her passes grew sloppy. Worse, her body language told the whole story. Shoulders slumped, frustration visible. She looked like a player who knew the game had slipped away. And the more she pressed, the worse it got. Lexie Hull's defense was suffocating. Caitlin Clark's offense was electric. The Fever bench was relentless. And McBride, instead of being the composed leader, looked like the weak link. Every misstep felt magnified. Every turnover a reminder that her elbow hadn't intimidated anyone. The humiliation wasn't in the stat sheet. It was in the way the game played out in real time. Fans could see it. The Fever players could feel it. McBride, the veteran, was crumbling under the weight of her own actions. Lexie Hull's redemption arc. Every player has defining moments. For Lexie Hull, this game wasn't just another night on the schedule. It was a chapter in her career, a statement game that showed exactly who she was, taking a dirty elbow and responding with composure, skill, and dominance. That's not just revenge, that's legacy building. Fans who may not have paid close attention to Lexie before suddenly knew her name. She wasn't just Caitlin Clark's teammate. She was the player who stood tall, took a hit, and came back stronger. Redemption stories are what sports are built on. And Hull's response transformed her from role player to headline maker. She didn't need to scream, didn't need to posture. Her performance said it all. By the end of the game, McBride was the villain, but Hull was the hero. And in sports, there's nothing more satisfying than flipping the narrative. Caitlin Clark's superstar stamp. While Lexie Hull delivered the revenge, Caitlin Clark turned the game into a showcase. For Clark, this was another reminder that she's not just a rookie. She's already the face of the league. Her ability to seize the moment was uncanny. With the crowd roaring, the energy buzzing, Clark fed off the chaos like she was born for it. Deep threes from beyond the arc, no-look assists that left defenders frozen, and an unshakable swagger that amplified every highlight. The Fever didn't just win, they performed. And Clark was the ringmaster. For every young fan in the stands, for every clip destined to go viral on social media, Clark delivered. She turned the humiliation of McBride into a spectacle, one that elevated the Fever brand and cemented her superstar status. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about arrival. Caitlin Clark showed that she's not just playing in the WNBA. She's shaping its storylines, controlling its narratives, and pulling in audiences like never before. The Fever's statement win. Not all wins are created equal. Some are routine. Some are expected. But this one was a statement. The Indiana Fever didn't just beat the Minnesota Lynx. They humiliated them. They turned a dirty elbow into fuel, turned frustration into dominance, and turned a potential setback into one of the most talked about victories of the season. Every storyline, the revenge of Lexie Hull, the brilliance of Caitlin Clark, the unity of the bench, the roar of the crowd, fed into something bigger. The Fever weren't just winning games anymore. They were establishing an identity. Tough, resilient, unshakable. For fans, this was cathartic. For players, it was empowering. And for Kayla McBride, it was devastating. She didn't just walk away with a loss. She walked away as the centerpiece of a viral humiliation, the player who tried to intimidate and ended up being exposed. Revenge complete. By the final buzzer, the story was complete. Lexie Hull had taken a dirty elbow, absorbed it, and responded in the only way that truly matters, by humiliating her opponent on the scoreboard and in the spotlight. Kayla McBride's attempt to intimidate had backfired. Instead of silencing Hull, she had unleashed her. Instead of rattling the fever, she had united them. And instead of being remembered as the veteran star of the night, McBride left as the cautionary tale of what happens when arrogance meets resilience. For the Fever, this was bigger than revenge. It was proof that they could take a hit, literally, and come back stronger. It was proof that Caitlin Clark wasn't just hype. She was a game changer. And it was proof that Lexie Hull could turn a moment of vulnerability into the defining highlight of her career. Sports are about moments. And on this night, the moment belonged to Lexie Hull. The humiliation was real, the revenge was sweet, and the victory was unforgettable.